The galaxy does not forget, it merely misplaces. And in those misplaced corners of truth, the Hydra stirs. What if the greatest secret of the Alpha Legion was not how to win, but how to endure? To survive not merely a battle or a war, but the crushing weight of 10,000 years of damnation? This is not a history. It is an autopsy of a living, breathing lie. Our chronicle begins in the ashes of a nameless void station, its hull etched with a symbol long purged from Imperial records, a serpent coiling about a star. Here, the air tastes of ozone and old blood. We drift through derelict corridors where lumen strips flicker a dying cadence, illuminating scattered bolt shell casings that bear no maker's mark. A ghost of a battle, fought for reasons none living could articulate. This is their legacy, a stagecraft of ruin, performed for an audience of dust. To understand their survival, one must first grasp the nature of their death. Official histories proclaim the Alpha Legion shattered at Escrador, their Primarch slain by the Imperial fist. But the galaxy's official history is a tapestry of comforting fictions. Consider the body, identified as Alphareus by genetic assay, by armor sigils, by witness testimony. Yet what is a witness in an empire built on faith? What is a body to a legion that wears identity as a cloak? Their methodology is a weaponized paradox. While other legions cultivate a singular terrifying reputation, the Alpha Legion proliferates contradictions. They are everywhere and nowhere, a specter of omnipresence. A guardsman on one world sees them as giants in cobalt and pearl. A hive magistrate on another swears they wore the livery of his own household guard. This is not mere disguise. It is a psychological virus, seeding doubt so profound it paralyzes the truth itself. The foundation of this edifice of lies was laid in the sunless realms of lost Lernia. There, the twin Primarchs were not merely taught warfare. They were immersed in a philosophy of absolute pragmatism, where a truth and a lie are merely different tools for the same wrench. A world where a fortress's greatest weakness could be a rumor whispered in a rival lord's ear a decade prior. Their survival instinct was forged not in fire, but in shadow, in the space between what is said and what is believed. Observe the cellular structure of the Legion. No other chapter or warband operates with such radical, devastating autonomy. A single Alpha Legionary, or a cell of 3, can be inserted into a planet's socio-political bloodstream like a tailored toxin. They operate without supply lines, without communications, for decades. They are self-contained universes of conspiracy, each holding a shard of a plan so vast its entirety is known perhaps only to a silent, guiding will that may no longer even exist. This leads us to the heresy within the heresy. Did the Alpha Legion truly fall to chaos? They utilize its assets, demon engines, warp sorcery, cultists. But where is their devotion? We see no grand temples to the dark gods, no singular obsession with a particular patron. Their allegiance appears to be to the scheme itself. Chaos is a means, a volatile fuel for an endless, self-perpetuating engine of subterfuge. They dance on the precipice of damnation, wearing its power like stolen plate. But is their soul truly forfeit, or is it merely repurposed? Consider the concept of the Omegan, a whisper in certain forbidden texts. If Alphareus was the visible head, the spear point, then Omegan was the hand in the dark, the contingency. With the reported death of Alphareus, did the Legion simply shift its axis? Or was the death itself the ultimate activation signal, triggering 1,000 dormant protocols? Their survival is rooted in this binary nature. A decapitation strike does not kill a creature with 2 brains, with a consciousness distributed like a neural net across the stars. Their interactions with the wider galaxy are surgical and symbolic. They have been recorded aiding Imperial forces against a greater chaos threat, only to destabilize that same sector a century later. They sabotage Xenos empires and rival warbands with equal chilling fervor. There is no ally, no enemy, only the perpetual motion of the long game, a game whose victory conditions are utterly inscrutable, known only as the end. So what is the secret? It is the terrifying power of narrative entropy. They have weaponized the decay of truth. By embedding themselves into every story, as hero, villain, or myth, they ensure that to erase them completely, one would have to silence all history, burn all data logs, and blind every soul in the galaxy. They survive because they are no longer just an army. They are a persistent rumor of war, and you cannot kill a rumor with a bolt gun. Thus, we arrive at our quiet rupture. An imperial chronoglobe, circa M41, spinning in a forgotten archivist's chamber. It shows the galaxy, and upon its rim, a single pulsing rune of unknown origin. It is not a location, but a timestamp, a date yet to come. And as the globe turns, the rune does not fade. It multiplies. Across the rim, a constellation of identical timestamps blooms into being, a silent symphony of perfect synchronization, all ticking down to the same unknown hour. The chamber is empty. The archivist is gone. Only the soft, relentless pulse of the lights remains. And somewhere, in the deep dark between the stars, a million voices, or perhaps just one, whisper the same three words into the void. The recording ends here. The words are lost as static, but the meaning hangs in the air, a final coiled truth. They are ready. The static resolves, not into silence, but into the low chant of a million souls. It is the sound of faith, a tangible pressure in the vaulted dark of the cathedral militant of sacred iron. Here, Cardinal Errant Valdez kneels, not in prayer, but in profound contemplation of a fracture. His fingers trace a hairline flaw in the great basalt altar, a defect unnoticed for millennia. To his mind, it mirrors the flaw in the Imperium's edifice. Absolute faith, demanded yet never reciprocated with truth. He knows the tithes from the Golgothan Reach have been rerouted, that the Astra Militarum regiments pledged to the Saints' Crusade are ghosts on paper. Someone is unraveling the tapestry from within, and their tools are bureaucracy and blind trust. In the gunmetal gloom of the Starford hanging above the cemetery world of Cathar, Captain Anselm of the Crimson Swords studies a tactical Pict. A Xenos splinter fleet approaches, a tendril of Hive Fleet Jormungandr. The defense is flawless, a masterpiece of Imperial coordination. Every squadron, every artillery battery is perfectly positioned, too perfect. It is the kind of plan he would devise. The kind of plan, a cold whisper in his gut suggests, that an enemy who knew his every doctrinal instinct would also devise. His certainty, the very bedrock of his command, now feels like a script handed to him by an unseen director. The Xenos are the enemy, but who authored this moment? Below, on Cathar's surface, the plague of doubt finds fertile ground in a simpler soul. Guardsman Kale, ankle-deep in the mud of a graveyard trench, clutches a spent las-power cell. It is stamped with an unfamiliar Forge World sigil, yet it fed his weapon perfectly. His squadmate, a veteran with eyes like flint, simply shrugged and said, "The Munitorum provides." But Kale remembers the sermons. He remembers that to deviate from the sacred standard is heresy. This small, functional lie, this perfect, unmarked component, unravels the grand, rigid truth of the Imperium more effectively than any blasphemous pamphlet. If the machine spirit's provenance is a lie, what else is? The perspective ascends to the bridge of the black ship Solidus Somnia, where the Psychers wail in unison. They do not scream of the approaching Tyranids. They shriek of a silence, a great coiled null signature slithering through the void, drinking the shadows cast by the Imperial fleet. Inquisitor Lothi, his face a mosaic of grim resolve, observes the readings. This is not the enemy. This is the puppeteer, the artist of misdirection. The hive mind's hunger is a blunt force. This other presence is a sculptor, carving away their certainty, preparing the battlefield not with bombs, but with epistemological rot. The true war is not for territory, but for narrative. Back in the cathedral, Cardinal Valdis receives a visitor in the confessional. The voice through the grill is mechanized, neutral. It speaks not of sins, but of logistics, of the Saints' crusade being a financial instrument, a siphon for resources destined for a cabal of rogue traders and mechanicus magi. It provides data slates, proofs etched in cold, hard light. The Cardinal's faith in God Emperor is unshaken. But his faith in the Imperium of man, in its institutions, bleeds out onto the polished floor. The voice offers not redemption, but a new purpose: to burn the corrupt machine, even if with heretical fire. Captain Anselm makes a decision born of corrosive doubt. He alters the flawless plan, disobeying direct orders from the Sector Lord. He redeploys his reserves not to the predicted breach point, but to a topographically illogical ridgeline. His officers protest. He cites a gut feeling, a commander's prerogative. As the Tyranid vanguard meets his lines, the predicted breach point holds firm. But on the silent ridge, a secondary impossible swarm erupts from biotunnels no survey had detected. His misplaced reserves are the only thing preventing total encirclement. He didn't outthink the hive mind. He outhought the one who thought they could outthink the hive mind. Guardsman Kale is dead. A Hormagaunts scythe tore him open in the mud. But in his final moment, he did not see the chitinous horror. He saw, reflected in its obsidian eye, a figure standing calmly behind his firing line. A figure in the unmarked, practical armor of a Munitorum logistician, holding a data slate, giving a slight, approving nod. The truth dies with Kale. The perfect, unmarked last cell remains in his cold hand. Inquisitor Lothy corners the silence. His strike force boards a derelict merchantman. It holds empty save for a single active console. On it, a live feed shows the bridge of Captain Anselm's flagship. Another feed shows Cardinal Valdis's private chambers. A third shows the mud of Cathar. It is a master console of observation, but there is no master, only a dead servitor, its programming having executed a flawless, soulless protocol of surveillance and data relay. The Alpha Legion was here. They are gone. They were never here. They have left only the evidence of their gaze, which is more unnerving than any bomb. Cardinal Valdis, armed with heresy, acts. He exposes the corruption of the Sector Lord in a public voxcast, using the evidence provided by the anonymous source. The sector plunges into political chaos. Loyalties fracture. The Saints' crusade collapses before it begins. Valdis believes he has done the Emperor's true work. He does not know he has merely executed step 7 of a plan written 10,000 years ago, that his righteous anger was a calculated ingredient in a different recipe. Captain Anselm, hailed as a prescient hero, reviews the aftermath. The silent ridge is littered with Tyranid dead, and among them, a single anomalous corpse. It is not Tyranid. It is a human, clad in a light scout harness of no known pattern, its flesh fused with strange organic data tethers. It held a device aimed not at the Imperial lines, but at the biotunnels. It was not guiding the swarm, it was hurting it. His victory was not his. It was a gift, or a payment, from one hidden hand to another. Inquisitor Lothy, in the absolute silence of his sanctum, pieces it together. The corruption was real. The Tyranid threat was real. The Cardinal's rebellion, the Captain's defiance, all genuine, all organic. The Alpha Legion did not create the actors. They merely wrote the stage directions, whispering the cues that made each player stride to their destined mark, believing themselves free. Their survival is this: they do not fight the war. They are the dramatists of conflict. They survive by making the galaxy itself their puppet theater. The final scene is the shattering of certainty. Inquisitor Lothy, seeking the ultimate source, traces the derelict merchantman's last course. It leads not to the outer dark, but coreward. To Terra, more precisely, to a point just beyond the solar Mandeville points. The ship's last automated log entry is a single encrypted burst, received and acknowledged by a high-frequency authority code. A code used exclusively by one organization, the Officio Assassinorum. The screen fills with the stark, terrifying logo of the Imperial Palace. The implication is a heresy that stops the breath. The puppeteers have strings that reach into the very throne room of humanity. And the audience, for the first time, sees a single trembling string attached to its own wrist. The transmission ends. The implications of that last heretical signal bloom like a bloodstain on sacred parchment. We pull back from the solar glare, the audience's horror, a tangible chill. The galaxy does not care. It merely continues its slow, cannibalistic spin. We find ourselves now in the heart of a different storm. Aboard the Grand Cruiser resplendent in his glory, flagship of Battlefleet Obscurus. Lord Admiral Quintus, a man whose face is a map of old wars, stares at the holographic stratagem. The Tyrant of Badab, the Octarius War, the Plague Wars, they are all fires he has fought. But this new silence from the Golgothan Reach, the political fracture there, it feels different. It feels like the floor of the universe is rotting away beneath his boots. In a cloister on the shrine world of Eleusis, a young dialoguist named Lyra copies a text so old its parchment crumbles at a touch. It is a first-hand account of the Horus Heresy, a fragment banned even within the sealed archives of the Adeptus Ministorum. The words describe not the bravery of the loyal, but the certainty of the traitor. A word-bearer, moments before his corruption, speaks of the Emperor's greatest sin, not atheism, but a theft of divinity. He claimed the power of gods for mankind, and in doing so, broke something fundamental in the human soul. Lyra's hand trembles. This heresy feels like an explanation for the hollow ache in her own prayers. Aboard the Resplendent, the void outside the viewport erupts. Not with weapons fire, but with a psychic scream that shatters glass and sanity. The Astronomican's guiding light, that constant psychic roar, stutters. For a single heart-stopping second, it flickers. To the navigators, it is like the sun blinking out. The ship lurches from the warp, bleeding reality. In that absolute spiritual silence that follows, every soul aboard feels it. A profound, cosmic abandonment. The God Emperor is not dead, but he looked away. The terror of that moment is more devastating than any demonic incursion. On Eleusis, Lyra is summoned. The Canoness Preceptor, a woman of iron and bitter zeal, has been shown Lyra's research notes by a servo-skull spy. There's no trial, only condemnation. Her faith, she is told, is a weak thing, poisoned by curiosity. She is to be inducted into the ranks of the penitent, her mind scrubbed clean by electroflagellation and prayer. As she is led away, Lyra does not weep for herself. She weeps for a galaxy where the quest for understanding is the greatest sin of all. The Admiral's fleet staggers through real space, blind and wounded, and they are not alone. From the Oort cloud of a dead star, a flotilla emerges. Their hulls are a patchwork of salvage and blasphemy, marked with the twisted crimson of the Red Corsairs. But their attack is not a frenzied rush. It is a precise, surgical dismantling. They target comms arrays, engine manifolds, life support hubs. They are not here to destroy the fleet. They are here to strangle it, to leave it a drifting carcass. As boarding pods slam home, a new realization dawns. The Corsairs knew exactly where they would be. They were waiting for the Astronomican's flicker. In her dim cell, Lyra hears the screams of the penitent. But beneath them, a new voice. It is calm, melodic, emerging from a rusted grate. It speaks of the Emperor's bargain, of the Golden Throne not as a sanctum, but as an engine of unimaginable pain, a lighthouse fueled by agony to hold back a tide that he himself unleashed. The voice asks, is a God who must torture 1,000 souls a second to maintain a failing status quo truly worthy of worship? Or is he the most tragic prisoner of all? Lyra's faith doesn't break. It inverts. The Admiral fights on the bridge, his ceremonial blade parrying the chain axe of a Corsair brute. He is losing. Around him, his loyal crew are butchered. The Corsair leans in, his breath foul with warp taint. "You die confused, old man," he snarls. "You think this an accident? A raid? We were contracted. Paid in weapons, in coordinates, to silence you. To keep you from seeing what's coming." Before Quintus can demand answers, a bolt round takes the Corsair's head. The shooter is one of his own junior officers, whose face is now a mask of cold, unfamiliar resolve. Lyra's cell door opens. Not by a jailer, but by a figure in the simple robes of the scribe. He offers a hand. He speaks of a different path, a path of truths, however terrible. He says the Imperium is a corpse, puppeteered by those who feast on its rot. To truly serve humanity, one must be willing to burn the corpse. She takes his hand. The figure's eyes for a moment seem to shift in color, a trick of the light. He leads her not to freedom, but deeper into the catacombs, towards a waiting, ghost-clean shuttle of unknown design. On the ravaged bridge, the Admiral faces his betrayer. The officer, his weapon steady, speaks without malice. "You were a good servant, my lord, but you serve a lie that is killing our species." The flicker of the Astronomicon was not a flaw. It was a symptom. He is dying. And when he dies, the lie dies with him. We must be ready with a new truth, however brutal. The Admiral in his final moment understands the Alpha Legion's secret not as tactics but as theology. They are the antibodies in a dying body, seeking a cure through controlled infection. Lyra's shuttle slips into the void. From the viewport, she watches Elusis shrink. Her guide stands beside her. "Where do we go?" she asks. He does not look at her, his gaze fixed on the infinite stars, to the source of all the lies, to the place where the first and greatest betrayal was not of the Emperor, but by him. The shuttle's drive engages, not the fiery plume of a plasma engine, but a strange, coruscating energy that folds reality around it. It is not a warp drive. It is something else, something older. The Admiral's body cools on the deck. The officer, who now thinks of himself as Hydra's tooth, accesses the fleet's central logister. He inputs a code from memory. Across every surviving ship, in every data slate in Auspex, a single file overwrites all others. It is not propaganda. It is raw, unedited data streams from the Siege of Terra, visual records from a dozen legions, loyal and traitor. It shows the Emperor not as a golden god, but as a desperate, furious man, making a pact at the moment of Horus's strike. A pact with the very powers he denied. The throne, the Webway project, the entire Imperium, it was all built on a foundation of that single catastrophic compromise. The shuttle emerges not in another system, but in a place of impossible geometry. A nexus of real space and Webway, and something else. A silent pocket universe. Before them hangs not a world, but a construct. A vast, obsidian prison fortress, its architecture echoing both Imperial Palace and Eye of Terror. And within a viewing chamber at its heart, held in a stasis field of unimaginable complexity, is a figure. Clad in the battleplate of a Primarch, but cracked and ruined. Not dead, dreaming. It is not Alphereus. The armor bears the subtle heraldry of the 20th Legion, but the face, visible through the broken visor, is one never recorded in Imperial history. A third face. The guide turns to Lyra, his features shimmering, resolving into the same face as the sleeper. He smiles a smile of infinite sorrow. "Behold," he whispers, the voice the sigh of galaxies. "The first secret, the sacrifice that was never made. The brother who took our place in damnation, so the Legion could remain." Hydra, the sleeper's eyes open. The eyes that open are not those of a sleeper roused, but of a prisoner who has never slept. They hold the light of 10,000 years of silent, screaming witness. The chamber, this hidden oubliette at the edge of all things, becomes a confessional. The guide, his form now shimmering with a ghostly bioluminescence, speaks not to Lyra, but to the figure in stasis, his words the echo of a conversation stretched across millennia. They call it survival, brother. We have called it victory. But you have always known the true name. The air tastes of ozone and old psychic blood. Lyra is forgotten, a mote of dust in the cathedral of their tragedy. She understands now that faith is not belief in a god, but belief in a story. And here, before her, is the author of a story so heretical it unmade its own author. The sleeper's lips do not move, yet his voice, a graveled tremor felt in the bones, fills the space. I am the unaccounted, the hidden variable. The Primarch who was, and was not. He was the contingency for the contingency, the third twin, born not of the Emperor's design but of the warp's cruel mockery, a perfect echo with one purpose, to be the sacrifice that made the lie believable. The revelation is a slow, cold poison in Lyra's soul. The Alpha Legion's survival, their omnipresent deceit, was not a strategy born of malice, but of a grief so vast it demanded the galaxy itself become its theater. They did not betray the Imperium at the dawn. They saw the fatal flaw in the Imperial truth, the cancerous compromise at its heart, and chose a longer, darker path to salvation, one that required them to play the villain in every tale, to shepherd mankind through atrocity to a destined, unspeakable tomorrow. Their loyalty was the deepest heresy. We are pulled from that silent pocket universe, cast back into the fire and scream of the material realm. The data burst from the dead Admiral's fleet has spread, a digital plague. On a forge world, a tech priest halts his rites, the sacred binary now corrupted with images of the Emperor's disparate bargain. His logic core seizes. To delete the heresy is a sin against data. To preserve it is treason. He chooses a third path, whispering the truth into the noosphere, a single spark that ignites a schism in the cult mechanicus, turning forge against forge in a war of burning revelation. In the drifting hulk of the Resplendent, the turncoat officer now named Celis watches the chaos unfold on stolen astropathic channels. He feels no triumph, only a weary gravity. His betrayal was not an act of ambition, but of solemn induction. The voice that recruited him did not speak of power, but of burden. It said, "You will be hated by the universe you strive to save. Your reward will be a clean death when the work is done." He checks his weapon, not for the coming borders, but for the final round he has reserved for himself. This is the Alpha Legion's true currency. Not fear, but the soul-crushing weight of purpose. On a cardinal world, the faithful riot. Some demand the purging of the liars. Others, with a fanatical light in their eyes, proclaim a new revelation. The Emperor is not a god, but a fallen guardian, and his suffering is our collective sin. They turn their zeal on the cathedrals, burning them not as atheists, but as heartbroken children destroying the house of an abusive parent. The Arbites fire into the crowds, but their resolve wavers. The bullets are stamped with the same unmarked forged sigils as Guardsman Kale's lacelle. Even their tools of order are suspect. High in the stratagem of the Phalanx, the fortress monastery of the Imperial Fists, Chapter Master Tor Garadun studies the reports. The galaxy is unraveling at the seams, not from external assault, but from internal collapse. The Alpha Legion's poison was never brute force. It was the seed of a question. What if you are wrong? He looks upon the solemn, stoic face of Rogel Dorn in a great portrait. He wonders, for the first time, if his Primarch's feigned stoicism was not resolve, but a silent, screaming comprehension of a truth too terrible to voice. Back in the prison fortress, Lyra finds her voice. Why show me this? I am nothing. The guide turns, his form solidifying into that of a weary, ageless warrior. You are a scribe. A keeper of stories. The old story is ending in fire. Someone must chronicle the new one, even if it is written in the blood of billions. You will witness the final act of our long war, the war for the soul of what comes after the Imperium. He gestures, and a viewing portal iris is open, showing not stars, but a seething, beautiful, terrible tapestry of possible futures, all branching from this single hidden truth. On Terra itself, deep in the bunkers beneath the palace, A pale, hairless figure connected to 1,000 wheezing machines stirs. It is an ancient, a remnant of the Council of Terra. It has seen the data plague. It understands the source. With a final rattling breath, it activates a protocol untouched since the heresy. A single encrypted pulse goes out, not through the warp, but through a hidden, physical network of quantum-linked relays, a last desperate recall signal. It is not addressed to any Imperial institution. Its authentication ciphers are archaic, Legion-specific. It is a summons to the only ones who might understand the depth of the rot. It is a plea to the Hydra. Silas feels the summons as a vibration in his armor's core, a melody he was born knowing. He knows what it means. The throne world itself is calling the Legion home. It is both vindication and doom. The long game has reached its endgame. He looks at the bolt pistol in his hand, the round meant for himself. He ejects it, replacing it with a magazine of flawless, unmarked shells. His death must wait. The final performance requires all players on the stage. The guide, the living Primarch Shard, places a hand on the stasis field. The time for hiding is over, brother. The time for the unveiling is at hand. The sleeper, the unaccounted, nods once, a movement that cracks the stasis like glass. The fortress around them begins to dissolve, not into ruin, but into streams of light and data, flowing outward, becoming a beacon. It is not a beacon of location, but of identity, screaming the Legion's true, forgotten name into the fabric of reality. Across the galaxy, in hidden holds and disguised stations, weapons are powered down. Infiltration missions are abandoned. Cells go silent. 1,000 schemes, millennia in the weaving, are gently set aside. From the Maelstrom to the Ghoul Stars, agents of the Hydra cease their work. They turn their eyes, all of them, toward the Sol system. They move not as saboteurs, but as an army. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Alpha Legion is not hiding. It is answering a call. The galaxy holds its breath. The last great lie is about to be told, and it will be told at the foot of the Golden Throne. The curtain rises. The silent convergence begins, not as a fleet, but as a cancer achieving perfect, terrifying remission. From forgotten asteroid bases and the holds of merchant vessels, from within the ranks of the Inquisition and the hollowed-out cores of dead space hulks, they come. Single ships, pairs, lone operatives and stolen gun cutters. Their courses, plotted 10 millennia ago, intersect with flawless, dreadful timing at the Mandeville point of the Sol system. They do not fight the cordon of Battlefleet Solar. They transmit the ancient weeping ciphers from the palace bunker, and the cordon, bewildered, shatters like glass. They are not breaking in. They are being invited home. On Terra, the air itself curdles with impending myth. The Adeptus Custodes stand arrayed upon the grand stairways, a wall of gold and silent fury. They have not mobilized in such numbers since the siege, yet no enemy declaims itself. There is only the quiet hum of descending ships, each a masterpiece of non-identification, settling on the blasted plains beyond the palace walls. From them, figures disembark, not in the riotous heraldry of chaos, nor the defiant uniformity of legions past. They wear the colors of dead regiments, the robes of scribes, the plating of mercenaries. A legion of ghosts wearing the faces of the Imperium's own corpse. Lyra stands beside the guide, the one she now knows as the Echo, the walking shard of the unaccounted. They watch from a cloaked vantage as the scattered cells form into ranks on the ash. There is no ceremony, no shouted orders. Just the silent, organic coalescence of a single terrible organism finally revealing its true shape. They are not here to conquer, the guide whispers, his voice thick with a grief older than stars. They are here to confess. The gates of the palace do not open. The Eternity Gate remains sealed, a continent of adamantium and faith. Before it, a single custodian, the shield captain Valerian, steps forth. His voice is a clarion, cutting the electric silence. You who wear lies as skin, you who have poisoned the well of history, Speak your peace, or be erased from its pages forever. From the sea of disparate armor, one figure walks forward. It is Silas. He removes his helm, revealing a face etched with the exhaustion of centuries. He says only, "We are here to finish the war." And then the sky splits. Not with weapons fire, but with a projection, a psychic broadcast etched into the ionosphere of Terra itself. It is the memory held by the sleeper, the unaccounted, now unleashed. The final, hidden record of the Horus heresy, not from the loyalist perspective, not from the traitors, but from the perspective of the one who watched from the shadows of the Emperor's own sanctum. It shows the Emperor, broken and bleeding over Horus's body. It shows not a god making a sacrifice, but a desperate scientist enacting a catastrophic ritual. He is not stealing power from the Chaos Gods. He is bargaining with them. A trade, his eternal vigilance, his infinite suffering, in exchange for one single overlooked thread in the tapestry of fate to be woven to his design. The thread of the 20th Legion. The truth is not that the Alpha Legion turned traitor. The truth is that they were never free. Their entire existence, their every act of calculated betrayal and cryptic salvation, was a predetermined path, a cosmic debt being paid. The long game was not their design, it was their sentence. They were the Emperor's final secret weapon, forged in the moment of his defeat, doomed to wear the mask of villainy so that the fragile idea of a united Imperium could survive, a scapegoat for all the evils necessary to maintain the lie. Their survival was not a secret. It was a curse. The silence on the plain is absolute. 1,000,000 souls, custodian and legionary alike, comprehend the scale of the betrayal. The Emperor did not abandon them. He enslaved them to a purpose so dark he could never speak it. The shield captain Valerian's spear tip lowers a fraction of an inch. His golden face, for the first time, shows not anger, but the hollow shock of perfect, understanding despair. From the midst of the Legion, the stasis sleeper walks. He is frail, a monument of cracked ceramite and fading light. He moves past Silas, past the ranks, to stand before the Eternity Gate. He does not address the Custodes. He looks up, as if through miles of rock and metal, directly at the Golden Throne. His voice is the rustle of dead leaves, yet it carries to every soul. "Father, your payment is complete. The debt is paid. The designated villains have played their part. Now, release us from the script." Nothing happens. The palace is silent. The moment stretches, an eternity of held breath. Then, a tremor. Not in the ground, but in the warp. A psychic spasm, vast and awful. The light of the Astronomicon gutters, not for a second, but for a full, terrifying minute. In that absolute, starless dark, something shifts. A pressure, 10,000 years old, dissipates like a sigh. When the light returns, it is different, dimmer, colder. The unaccounted Primarch is gone, dissolved into motes of ash. The Alpha Legion does not cheer, they simply stop. As one, they power down weapons. They kneel in the ash of Terra, not in submission, but in exhaustion. The long game is over. The prison of their purpose has been opened. Lyra understands now. The climax was not a battle. It was a funeral. The funeral for a lie that had sustained and strangled a galaxy. The guide, the Echo, touches her shoulder. His form is fading. The story is yours now, scribe. Tell it, not as truth or heresy, but as a warning. The worst prisons are those we build for others in the name of salvation. He vanishes. In the aftermath, the galaxy is unmoored. The Alpha Legion remains, kneeling on the plain, waiting for a judgment that does not come. The Custodes do not attack. They stand sentinel over a truth too colossal to process. The Imperium has not fallen. Its God has simply confessed. And in that confession, every foundation stone of faith, loyalty, and destiny is left hollow, waiting for a new meaning to fill the terrible silent void. The war is over. The age of something else has begun, in a quiet that is more deafening than any war cry. The silence that follows is not the silence of peace, but of a world holding its breath, waiting for a new scream that never comes. The Legion, still kneeling in the ashen plains, becomes a monument to a spent purpose. There is no order to disband, no final command. One by one, they simply rise, turn, and walk back to their scattered ships. They leave no footprints in the ash. The custodies do not stop them. They stand as golden statues before a gate that no longer guards a secret, only a dying light. The war is not won, it has simply evaporated. Lyra, the last remembrancer, records it all from her lonely vantage. She sees the ships lift away, not in formation, but as solitary birds fleeing a cooling nest. They do not vanish into the warp. They slide into the void, their drives cold, becoming specks lost against the infinite black. They have survived everything, and in surviving, have achieved a state beyond victory or defeat, irrelevance. Their secret was not a strategy, but a sentence. And the sentence has been served. On 100 worlds, the ripples of that silent confession spread. In the cathedral militant where Cardinal Valdis once knelt, the great flaw in the altar has widened, splitting the basalt from top to bottom. No one repairs it. The faithful come to touch the fracture, not to pray, but to feel the tangible proof that even stone can forget its purpose. The hymns now are sung in a lower key, the words the same, but the certainty behind them is a ghost. Captain Anselm's victory ridge on Cathar is silent. The tyrannid carapace is bleached white by a sun that no longer feels the Emperor's light. The guardsmen who remain dig no new trenches. They stare at the strange, fused corpse of the Alpha Legion scout, the one who herded the swarm. They do not bury it. They leave it as a cairn, a question mark in chitin and flesh. What does duty become when the architects of your duty were themselves enslaved? The Forge world schisms burn themselves out, not in resolution, but in exhaustion. The Tet priest who whispered the truth into the noosphere sits before his dead forge, his mechadendrites severed. He listens to the wind howl through scorched metal. The binary catechisms no longer compute. He is left with only the raw, unprocessed data of revelation and no system to interpret it. Is a truth that destroys the mechanism of understanding still a truth? Inquisitor Lothi's sanctum is dark. The screens that once showed a galaxy of threats are blank. He holds the data slate linking the Alpha Legion to the Assassinorum. He does not destroy it. He places it in a simple box, locks it, and pushes it into a corner. Some truths are not weapons, they are tombstones. To wield them is to desecrate the grave. His mission is over, and he has no report to file, for there is no authority left that would understand the words. The Astronomican's light continues to burn, but those with the sight to see perceive its change. It is no longer a clarion call of divine will. It is a lighthouse fueled by agony, yes, but now its beam is a plea, a lament thrown against the dying of the void. Navigators chart their courses by the rhythm of a dying god's pain, and the songs of the astropaths are now dirges, beautiful and terrible. Lyra's chronicle nears its end. She writes not on parchment, but into the memory core of a simple, unmarked data slate, the tool of an anonymous scribe. She does not title it. She begins with the words she heard in the static of a forbidden's archive. The galaxy does not forget. It merely misplaces. And she ends with the image of the empty plane, the silent custodies, and the fading ships. She asks the only questions left. What is fidelity when loyalty was your cage? What is survival when your existence was another's weapon? On a derelict void station, in a corridor where lumen strips flicker a final dying cadence, a single figure remains. His armor is bare of any mark. He sits before a viewport, watching the stars. He does not move. He does not sleep. He simply endures. The secret that allowed the Alpha Legion to survive anything was the most terrible of all. The belief that they served a higher, hidden purpose. Now, with that purpose fulfilled and dissolved, they must face the ultimate test, surviving the meaninglessness they were created to forestall. The galaxy turns. Wars continue, the orc, the tyrannid, the demon. But a flavor has left the conflict. The grand, tragic narrative has fractured into a billion petty, brutal struggles. There are no heroes, no villains, only survivors in the long, slow ending of a story whose author has admitted it was always a fiction. The divine stage has collapsed, and the players are left standing in the rubble, unsure of their lines. Lyra powers down the slate. Her work is done. She places it within a sealed capsule, not to be hidden, but to be found. It is a message in a bottle, cast into the ocean of time. It does not shout for attention. It whispers, like ash falling on sacred ground. It says, "Remember this. Remember the cost of the lie. Remember the silence after the weeping." And so the chronicle closes. Not with a bang, but with the soft click of a data slate being set aside, in a room where only starlight enters. The Hydra's work is done. Ours, perhaps, is just beginning. To question, to remember, to witness. If this elegy for a lie has resonated with you, if you have felt the weight of these silent stars, then stand with us as a fellow remembrancer. Let your engagement be the candle in this archive. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Theories that drift like dust through these forgotten halls. Share this chronicle with those who seek deeper truths in the grim dark. And subscribe to bear witness when the next forbidden page is turned. The galaxy's memory is long, but it requires voices to give it shape. Lend us yours.